Mega Man 5 is often considered to have the worst weapons in the entire classic Mega Man series, but is that true? Well, today we're going to find out. This is part of an 11-part series where we rank every single boss weapon in the Mega Man series. Boss weapon, so no items. Or in today's case, no super arrow. As you can see, since last time, I opened up a few new tiers just because I think it more accurately reflects the divisions between the powers. Yeah, fairly self-explanatory. Before we start, something to know about Mega Man 5 that will impact a lot of the weapon strength is your charge buster in this game, which we're not ranking, but it's huge and so much coverage. It charges faster than Mega Man 4. It gets knocked out of you if you get hit, but that's not nearly as important as far as it certainly doesn't defeat all the other trade-offs you get in this game. It's really powerful, the point is, kind of infamously so, and this will impact the weapons a lot. But yeah, with that in mind, we're gonna start with Gravity Hold. Gravity Hold is kind of like Rain Flush from last time, where it's a screen nuke. The difference is this one activates immediately, as opposed to Rain Flush, where you have to wait a bit. You press this one, immediately flashes, which, you know, that's good if you're like running and gunning. I will say generally, due to how low the ammo count is on these weapons, and because their coverage is so good, how I prefer to use them is when you're in a room full of enemies. Like, I use them preemptively, right, instead of reactively. When I come across a room with a lot of enemies that would make it inconvenient to use anything else. And in that context, besides speed, Gravity Hold is worse than Rain Flush in really every other way. It's weaker, which that does actually matter quite a lot, because, I mean, this is only has 7 uses, so it's not a weapon you can spam. And it doesn't drop, because enemies drift off screen. They don't drop health and arrow and stuff, which that's not hugely relevant, considering that Mega Man 5 is the easiest game in the classic lineup, and a lot of that is because of enemy drops, but, you know, it's a factor. You know, similar to last time, I mean, a screen nuke is still a screen nuke, guys. These weapons are always gonna have a place on a moveset like this, but yeah, definitely worse than Rain Flush. And keep in mind, Rain Flush had more competition in its own game, whereas Gravity Hold, you know, as we'll see, the standard of weapons in this game are not quite as high, so still good, you know, still a useful tool to have. It's somewhere in here. I think I'm gonna say here. Yeah. I will move Rain Flush here as well, to be a bit more consistent. Yeah, so Water Wave. Water Wave sucks. It's really bad. So Water Wave is like Search Snake last time. The problem with Water Wave is you can't use it when you're in midair, which that's kind of the main point of Search Snake and weapons like this, is you use them midair to protect your landing if an enemy gets beneath you. You just can't do that here. Furthermore, its ammo is pretty bad. It can't travel up surfaces, which again, Search Snake's other best use is when an enemy's above you and you can't easily reach them. enemies in this game are a lot more likely to be above than below you, and furthermore, they're generally more dangerous if they're above you, because they can probably hit you more easily. It doesn't work on certain platforms, like the platforms in Starman stage or any of Gravity Man stage, for some reason. Which, like, that's not the biggest deal, but when this weapon already sucks, like, having situations where it doesn't even work is not helping its case. The one niche use this weapon has is it can block projectiles, so it can be kind of okay against those gem guys in Crystal Man stage and the Wily stages. You know, you can shoot, because they gain invincibility when they're charging up their attack, and then their own projectile deflects weapons, so this can, like, rip through that and hit them. But that's the same shit as Spark Shot, right? Like, a weapon that's only really useful at all against, like, one enemy in the game. Terrible. It's even more of a niche use case than Spark Shot, to be honest. It's a, like, better standalone because it can do damage, so is it better than Bubble Lad? It's really bad. I actually don't think it is, which maybe is a controversial take, but, like, Bubble Lad's ability to track invisible floors in Wily 4 is better than anything I think Water Wave can do. Now for one of the worst weapons in the entire classic series, it's Power Stone. Useless might be the wrong word, I guess. Infamous would be better, because I actually don't think Power Stone is quite as useless as some people think. It's technically your longest ranged weapon, along with another one we'll get to. Like, this thing, if you aim it properly, you can basically hit anything from any part of the screen. The problem is that it's basically impossible to aim correctly, because this thing's pattern is erratic, inaccurate. You basically cannot use this as as you're moving at all. You know, like, a spiral of stones will essentially come out of you in an anti-clockwork manner and spread across the screen really fast. Too fast. And that's why it's impossible to hit anything when you're running. If you're, like, if you're waiting at the bottom of the screen and playing patiently, like, this thing does have a bit of ammo, so I don't know, like, let's say you run out of Gravity Hold or Gyro Attack, as we'll get to. Like, I guess then this kind of becomes your only resort, as far as if you want to clear far enemies in a room that are out of your range, like, especially above you. But even then, right, like, this weapon is weak. Like, considering how inaccurate it is not a powerful weapon. The stones do not do much damage. It is really bad. Again, has a niche use if you run out of those aforementioned weapons, but even then, right, like, I don't think you'll be running out of ammo that much. So I might not think it's, like, literally the worst classic weapon in the entire series. It's really bad, though. The question, it's hovering somewhere here. I might end up changing this. Right now, I think I'm gonna go here. It kind of Gemini laser again, right? Like, technically, your longest range option. But, like, this, I'm almost tempted to put it below. It's even more outclassed, because that's really all it has going for it, and there are other weapons that do that. But if you miss, at least doesn't put you in, you know, it doesn't put you in such a horrible state like Gemini laser does. Gyro Attack. Okay, you know that Gyro Attack is the best weapon in Mega Man 5. I know the best weapon in Mega Man 5 is Gyro. Gyro is pretty good, actually. It's a projectile that goes, you fire it out and you manually change its direction one time, up or down. So with good aiming, this thing can really hit anything on screen. It's pretty big. it's pretty strong for a weapon in this game. The only downside is you can't really move at all when using it, because again, it's hard to control when you're on the run. So it's really only that good from a standstill. It's very good though when you're at a standstill. It's honestly like it's kind of on par with a Metal Blade at that point, just with less ammo. Not being able to use it when running is a shame, just because again, like, you're not gonna have there's too much going on. You're not gonna be able to use it like that, and thus it's not very good in the boss fights that you'd like it to be as well. That is a consideration. It is a pretty strong weapon though. It also, compared to Metal Blade, obviously this game has the Charge Buster, so it has a lot more competition on that front, but yeah, it is good. It is a very strong weapon. I'm feeling it's quite comparable to Dive Missile, honestly. You can't really run while using it though, so it's probably slightly worse than that. I will put it here. We have Star Crash. So Star Crash is another shield weapon, very similar to Skull Barrier from last time in the sense of, you can run when using it, which is obviously pretty useful. I will say, compared to Skull Barrier, I feel like there are slightly more good opportunities to use Star Crash in this game than that one, so this weapon is actually very helpful for newbies in Crystal Man stage, at the beginning bit where the gems drop down. It's also quite useful in, I think it's Wily 1 or 2. There's a section when you're on treadmills and there are cloud enemies coming down on you where it's pretty good. Another thing separating this from Skull Barrier is you can throw Star Crash. It's not like Leaf Shield, unfortunately, where you can throw it in any direction. Really, you can only throw Star Crash forward or back. It's nice, I guess, and like, it's a big projectile. It's pretty weak. It doesn't really factor into my ranking that much. It's probably the most similar two weapons in the entire series I ever get. So if you've seen, go watch my Mega Man 4 video if you want maybe a little bit more of an in-depth analysis. I think, yeah, I mean, I'll put it just slightly higher than Skull Barrier, but slightly better tailored to its game, slightly, like, has an additional use case, which is not great, but I guess it's something. Napalm Bomb. So Napalm Bomb is kind of like Water Wave, actually, in the sense of it's another weapon that it's a ground crawler. Can't go up slopes still, which is unfortunate, and it's also very slow, which isn't great. This one, at least, A, you can use it from the ground, which, again, you use these weapons mostly to kind of cover your landing, so that is pretty good. And B, you can also like kind of rapid fire this one and send a lot out at a time. Granted, enemies do have iframes in this game, so it doesn't do quite as much damage as you'd like, but it's a pretty good means of dishing damage out quickly if you're like up directly above an enemy. It's still just, it's not that good still, unfortunately. Very slow. Yeah, very slow, that's the main thing. The Blast Residue also doesn't do any real damage. Like when it explodes, if another enemy's in the vicinity, that does not do damage, which is kind of stupid, and it wouldn't make the weapon that much better, but I don't know, it's still not great. I can do damage fast, which from below, which I guess is nice. I don't know. it's probably more this tier than that tier. It's not good though. It's very comparable to Rolling Cutter, I would say. Slightly above, maybe? No. In fact, I think I'm being too generous. No, I'm being too generous. I'll put it here for now. Charge Kick. Another weapon that's not good. So Charge Kick is a weaponized version of your slide. You equip this, your slide gains damage and some iframes, so it's another melee attack, and as we've seen from Top Spin, that doesn't tend to pan out so well compared to that one. Like, this one, a bit more range, a little bit more protection with, again, the iframes. It's also in a game with your Charge Buster though, so why are you using this one? I also feel like, as bad as Top Spin is, at least that's a mid-air weapon, and I feel like there are just more enemies in the air than on the ground. Charge Kick is bad. I'm putting it here again. Yeah, it's just really bad. Like, I guess it has a niche with the iframes. Truthfully, it's not a weapon I tend to use much. I guess if you really try, you can do something with it. Maybe just don't though, or maybe just use your Charge Buster. Crystal Eye. Crystal Eye is quite comparable, I would say, to Dust Crusher from Mega Man 4. It's a big projectile that you can shoot out quickly. This one, if it hits a wall, splits into 3 little shots that then reverberate around the screen a little bit. Unlike Gemini Laser, you can pause the game and swap out when the balls are on the state. It gets rid of them, but still, much better than that at least. A big projectile that you can spam quickly on paper is pretty good. The problem for Crystal Eye is twofold. One, it's not as strong as Dust Crusher. Dust Crusher may not be like a super essential weapon, but it at least is pretty powerful, to be fair. Worse, though, is, again, this is the game where you have a massive cannon shot by default, right? Your Charge Buster. So the amount of times where this is preferable over that, it's not that many. There are some, I guess, like those big guys that shoot the missiles out of their top, like the one in Napalm's man stage. I do find Crystal Eye pretty good here, because again, it's your best chance of doing good DPS from a distance, so it at least has that. But it's pretty hard outclassed. Like, I don't think the reverberating little shots are that useful, to be honest. On paper it's a solid weapon, but it's trapped in the wrong game. I do think it deserves to be more functional tier. It's definitely not as good as these, though. Let me put it here. And yeah, everyone, that was the Mega Man 5 weapons tier list. Were they the worst in series history? Yeah, I'd say so, to be honest. I mean, there are only like 2 weapons in the game that I would call genuinely good. Yeah, and to be honest, it's kind of a shame because, while there are quite a few weapons in this game that are kind of derivative of weapons from earlier games, I feel like they're pretty experimental in this game. I want to give weapons like Power Stone and Charge Kick a bit more than they do, because they're creative ideas, but they're just not good. Like, they're really not. But yeah, guys, that was the Mega Man 5 boss special weapon tier list. Did you agree with this video? As always, if you have something to say about these weapons that I didn't address, please comment it down below. It helps engagement, so yeah, please do that. Remember to like this video if you can, subscribe if you're feeling kind enough, and join us next time where we get to review the special weapons of the last game in the classic series, Mega Man 6. Will the boss weapons that time be better than this game's? Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to assume. Anyway, see you guys then. Bye bye.